Hi everyone, I am Tara and I would like to welcome you all back to my channel, Spiritual Talk. Today I want to talk a little bit about the hurricane that we experienced this past week, Hurricane Fiona. Um, Now, some parts of Nova Scotia, PEI, Cape Breton, Newfoundland, like it all come in. It downgraded from what it was said to be. However, a lot of people uh, in the parts where I'm at lost power. Okay, and in so doing, uh, it blew transformers. It took out the internet. It just uprooted trees, and the power was out for many days. I just got my power on yesterday. Okay. Um, but now in the aftermath, I was going around and I got really confused and I started asking like, well, why is it going down like this? Okay. Because before the hurricane, they tell people stock up, be ready for your power being out for minimum of 72 hours. Okay, so people would have, like, normally they go gather their food, their water, what have you. Now, what irritated me, and I can't fathom because I keep asking myself the question, and someone said to me, well, the stores, they do it in this way or that way. Well, I'm here to say when they were putting the power back on, they were all over the place. Like people were looking at it, it just didn't make sense. Right here, they'd have power, next door, no power. Why not work in one area and get the place going? And why not get the power going in people's homes first? So they can save their food. So that they can have a cooked meal. And not have to go to a fast food place. But what did they do? They catered to the big corporations. What's wrong with that? What about the people? We're the ones that pays the bills. Not these big corporations that our government likes to bail out because these big corporations are on the verge of bankruptcy because of their own doing. But yet they'll take our money. I had somebody tell me that they called Revenue Canada one time and they asked the question like about the poor man. Well, at Revenue Canada, they told this person, well, we know we'll get it from the poor man. Right? Okay. But so why is the poor man paying for these big corporations when all they're doing is screwing us over? Like we should have had power. And then to cause insult to injury, well, the government comes up with, oh, well, you apply for this subsidy thing and we'll give you $100 for the food you lost. People had freezer fulls. How far is $100 going to go? But some people will do it because they think, well, I need the food. Well, wait a minute. Ain't it their fault why you lost your food because they decided to go get big corporations up and running? Franchises? McDonald's? People could eat something healthy at home. instead of going and waiting in a lineup, either in the building or sitting in your vehicle with your gas running. You're screaming about gas prices, but they put you in a lineup. Wake up. People think, oh, well, wake up. It's not, oh, well. You might have the money to buy food, but there are many people that weren't able to buy food. $100 does not go far, and our government knows that. And you know that. We talked to somebody and like $100. If you're a meat eater, you had lots of meat, okay? $100 might buy 3 steaks and maybe a bag of potatoes. Right? There's a lot wrong with that. Okay? Am I like, okay, I'm glad the internet went out. And why I say I'm glad the internet went out, because people were outside. They might have been cleaning up the aftermath, but kids were off the machines. People were off the machines. But people do need their food. And to take $100 and, oh, here's the line. Go fish. Come on, little puppet. Come on. Here, come on. Can you reach it? Oh, my goodness. Oh, no, hello. You got to apply for it on the internet. Now, I know someone, like people who don't even know how to apply for these things. See, the thing is, the government knows that people are not going to apply. Not a lot of people, some might. But they know that the majority of them won't, because it's more hassle for $100. You know, I look around and it's, God is shaking us to the core. We're being tested on how greedy we are, how selfish, how ignorant we are. Ask yourself, when you had no, when you and your neighbor had no power, but your neighbor had nothing, or your neighbor needed help, you had a generator, your neighbor needed help, either elderly or people with kids, especially single moms, people that aren't working. Them throwing that $100 bill in front of you, if you take it, I just ask that you don't. I know you're thinking, well, I could use it. Well, yeah, maybe you could use it. But don't you think you could use a little more? Don't you think that what you lost should be returned? Because I was talking to someone and they told me back when they were younger, and even in my days, okay, it didn't take that long to get the power out or back on. Sorry, if we had a storm. And we've had storms. I still go now where I'm at, and I'm looking and there's no one around. And there are trees laying on the wires, like dangling over the road, like that. What's wrong with that picture, people? When are you going to wake up and see that they don't care? They just want your money because they are the biggest greed of all. People's homes got destroyed. But insurance don't cover it because insurance don't cover a act of Mother Nature. But wait a minute. The biggest majority of the time, people's homes get destroyed because of an act of Mother Nature. What's wrong with that picture? Something majorly wrong. You pay crap piles of money into an insurance company for home insurance, for car insurance, what have you. Oh, well, sorry, we're going to keep your money, but we don't cover natural. That should be one of the biggest things that are covered. But wait a minute. You have one or two claims and they say, forgive. And I've seen people that like they put in claims and it's not until months down the road. And then they have to go through hassles. What are you paying it for? I sat down here. Somebody gave me a cord because they had a generator, but I sat down here. Okay. And I wouldn't plug. I'm busy. I wouldn't plug anything into it because I was going to sit with the people until power came back on. It's like, take a look around, okay? And ask yourself, what did I do to help my neighbor? Because it's all about community. And this is why things are happening. God is shaking the world to a core, like Hurricane Ian. That's now hitting Florida. It's downgraded to a tropical storm, from what I understand. And my heart is with them right now. And I put myself to shield. But what is the government doing to really help us? Besides say, well, here's $100 to replace the food that you lost. Or another thing is, we'll give you $250 towards cleanup after you've had trees fall in your yard and stuff like that. Everyone knows it's not that cheap to get rid of it. To have someone come in and like I see people and their yard is still got trees down because they've got nobody to clean it up help clean them up. What is wrong? You may think your neighbor, well, they're not my family. Well, who cares if they're your family? Wouldn't you want help? I have a young woman that lives very close by. And she has 4 children living at home, younger children. She had no lights. She had nothing to cook on. And I went to her one day, and it was because I was told she was trying to light her barbecue. So I told her that I had a thing of propane over here if she wanted to use it. And she said she would let me know if she needed help. Well, I knew that she needed help because a lot of people have a hard time accepting help because there's been so many people that figure, oh, well, I'll help this person because I'll get this out of them. Well, why are you expecting anything in return if you're helping someone out of the goodness of your heart? Right? Why are we so ignorant? Why are we so greedy? Because ignorance and greed ain't bliss no more. We're here to help each other. And when I took her, I took her food and stuff like that. Took her a big bowl of spaghetti to fill her belly. The hot meal, a good meal. I give them propane and a camp stove with the propane so that they could boil water. And I told her, like, I wasn't taking like no for an answer, and I wasn't waiting for her to come, because I told her that I know that some people, they don't want to accept help, not because so much of pride, but because there's so many people out there that when they offer the help, they want something in return. Remember the story of Noah's Ark? Okay, where Noah built the ship to rescue people, to rescue his family, to take them to safety, and all the animals. Okay, it was Ark. Do you know what Ark means? Act of random kindness. We're in a time now where it is a time of change. Change for the better, not to keep the ignorance and greed going. I had someone say today, which there's a very good chance they could be right. Maybe our government, our provincial government, was given $200 to give to each person that lost food. Oh, crap. Yeah. Did you ever think of that? Because they're so greedy. It's like, oh, well, we're given this, but hey, we'll only give them the $100. They don't know the difference. Maybe they were given $500. I had someone say today about, well, why did social services give people $150 that are on assistance, and we're only getting offered $100? And I said, well, when COVID hit, why were people that worked got $2,000 and assistants got squat, except for their monthly check, which was mine was just a little over $900. But this person said, well, we worked. It's like, well, okay. Were you okay if you were working part-time? Okay. Or what have you? You were getting $600 a month, but you got $2,000. So if you were making $600 a month, then we get $900 a month. Why are you entitled to $2,000 and they don't subsidize us up to $2,000? People on assistance. And then this person said about bums, which irritated me. I don't like the word bum. Because you have not one freaking iota of knowledge why that person's on the street. Some of them, though, some of them have money and they're still out panhandling. But there's legitimate ones. And some of them, they just don't want to be part of the grid. They don't want to be part of the matrix, the corruption, the ignorance. They don't want the dirty money. Some of us, like, do I take it? Yep. But I'm going to be giving it back to the people it was taken from. So I just got asked, well, did you give it back yet? No, I give some, but we all need a way to live. Okay. Our government says, oh, well, wait, what we're going to do is we're going to give you a little more GST. But wait a minute, why give us a little more GST? Why not just get rid of GST? Dahil kinaptos ka lang, kitutoy na. May kuto naman is ka na nuniyay. Purias ka na, nay. Purias ka na. It's play on words. Well, we'll give you this, but wait a minute. We'll give you it, but we're going to dangle it first. And I've heard people say that they've tried calling these places, like the government that's supposed to be helping people who lost homes and stuff like that. Flood damage and tree damage and ripped apart and everything, because your insurance company won't cover it. So the government is supposed to step in and help, but wait, nobody can get a hold of anybody. What's wrong with that? Okay, some are sitting back and they're thinking, oh, well, this or that. Well, oh, well, this or that. Just because you think that way doesn't mean everybody else got to. But the government should be giving more help. And people shouldn't have been going without their lights. There's still people without lights, and they're going and they're friggin' putting in these like buildings and housing and stuff like that, and people can't afford it. And when power's out, they go cater to the big corporations. Do you know that people who make over, what is it, between $100,000 and $150,000 a year, if they make more than that, they could make $1 million a year, and they only have to pay taxes on 100 or 150. They'll take your home if you don't pay your property tax, when they don't even have any right to your property or your home because they don't own it. It's on ceded property, on ceded land. Google or DuckDuckGo on ceded land. I come home, or I went yesterday, and it really irritated me to the point where I screamed, because there's a Tim Hortons up the road, and Tim Hortons had power before people had power. Oh, we got to supply people with the coffee because we got to get our money, and then we got to give them the cops so they can take the damn cops and throw them in people's yards and in the ditches and on the road. I had somebody say, but they won't write it down and they won't stand up. Well, I ain't saying anything about it. That's what's wrong. You think that way, but yet you won't say it. These big corporations that produces the garbage, the clamshell things that your food comes in, these cups that get thrown around, and like all the trash that gets thrown out. These big businesses should be responsible for getting rid of their own trash, not the consumer. Ugh, crap. Ugh. Ugh. Truth hurts. But we need to wake up to it. People that, some, not all, some, they strongly, the government's for me, the government's for me. Well, the government ain't for you. Because if the government was for you, you wouldn't be robbing Peter to pay Paul. You wouldn't be paying taxes up the yin yang when our province pays the most taxes in the whole country. Why? We're the oldest generation. We're the dirt. But we're not dirt. We are human beings. We shouldn't be paying friggin' money to line their pockets, and these big corporations and these big friggin' like paint off. I had someone tell me that, holy crap, they took their kid to the hospital waiting for hours because they kept saying, wait, we can't get a hold of another hospital or this or that. So the person stormed off, but yet we're the histrionics. Because you know what? You go into a hospital, okay? They feed off your pain. They feed off your anxiety. Oh, let's make them sit. This feels good. Oh, yeah, we're getting energy. I'm not saying it's happening. It's that they're all doing it in there. But the biggest majority of them are. Do you notice when you go into a hospital or any place, for the most part, where they have a TV and you're sitting and you're waiting, especially like doctors or hospital settings or what have you, they have this TV on, it's right in front of you, and what do they have on? News. It's anxiety. It just keeps you sick. It makes it worse. How many of you you felt horrible, but you went to the hospital and you're sitting there and you start feeling worse? Well, that's why. Det ska man. Mycket tutto le skolana. E coi ma le rischera tutto rischera ma ne I went in hospital one day and holy crap. Like I could feel everyone's energy, the psychic attacks that they put on you to make you feel like crap. And the TV just blaring news. Oh, this is happening. Oh, crap. You better be fearful. You better be in panic. And I was like going around the hall, like, holy crap, like trying to shake it off. And then trying to breathe because I was having a major anxiety attack because it's like, holy crap. I had one person come ask me, would you like a glass of water? Nurses, nothing did that. No help. It was a security guard. I went to the hospital here, what was that, about a month ago, roundabout there. Because I was going to go in and make an appointment with mental health where I had already seen someone. But I wasn't allowed in the hospital to make the appointment. I had to have an appointment to go in the hospital. You have to have a mask. COVID's gone. It's all about control. So I had been standing there, and by this time, my parking ticket that I had to get, well, when I went in there, you could automatically feel the freaking, oh my God. It was the energy. It was terrible. I felt it right from the time I get in there, and I freaking, like the front end of my car ended up hitting the curb. I felt worse getting into that parking lot than I felt when I first went there. It was like I was being drugged there. Like it was like there was a force field pulling me to it. And when I got in the hospital and they told me this, I looked at and it was like, well, I need to pay my parking. Well, you got 10 minutes. And she looked at it, I said, well, and she said, well, what's it say in your time? It gave me a minute to 2 minutes. She said, well, you got time. There's a minute to 2 minutes. By the time I got back to my car and got up to the thing to pay for my ticket, I had to go back and park and go in, and then they still weren't going to let me in to pay for my ticket. Cause more anxiety, more stress. Are you awake yet? I'm not saying that there aren't doctors out there that care, because there are. And more of them are coming around, and they don't want to prescribe medication. They want you to do the natural way. But people are getting pissed off because they're so attached. The same as they're attached to, well, I need $100. Play on words. Suggestion. Suggestion in some forms is manipulation. Ugh. They skid in. We need to see, because there's more and more people waking up, because I seen on the news today, man, he lost his home. And he was frustrated because he said his insurance don't cover it. Act of God. Which, like I said, that's the main thing that causes property damage. But they don't cover that because they don't want you putting in a claim because they want to keep your money. You're paying an arm and a leg. If something happens. And then the main thing that causes things to happen, it's not covered. Really? There's not a lot of act of gods that happen. So why is that not covered? God is waking us up. God is shaking us to the core to see the corruption, the ignorance, the greed, the dirtbags, the puppets. Because right now, like I said, dance, little puppet. You need the $100? Here, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me. But oh, wait. You got to run through hoops to get it first, right? They're given, they say, $250 to have the debris cleaned up. A lot of people don't have $250 up front. And that's just mere pennies, because a lot of the time you can't even get somebody to do something for that, especially that kind of job. That's why I say we're supposed to be helping each other. It's like do unto others as you would have others do unto you. Not do unto others as others do unto you, because just because one person treated you like shit doesn't mean everybody else is going to. You just keep running into you just keep going in the wrong circles. Or you keep thinking that everybody's like that. So it's because we've been brainwashed into thinking that way. Right now, we are doing a lot of going within and helping ourselves because, well, it's hard to get somebody to help. Because by God, if you don't have any money, you ain't getting help. And that's sickening. I know that, like, I had someone help me, and I didn't mind paying them because, like, it was a disaster. But in all honesty, families shouldn't be charging each other to help. I know, like, you got people that are like, it's their job, and they charge, but they're overcharging. And the reason why they're overcharging is because the big corporations are overcharging them, and the government is overcharging because you're paying tax on the supplies. Say you're building a house, you're paying tax on the supplies to build the house. Then you're paying tax on the property. Say when taxes were already paid on a house, but you go buy a house, you're paying taxes again. Ain't that double dipping? Ugh, crap. Ask yourself these questions. tuleshkele amorikatatai ekrui. Ekurieskana manikatui elekuruputikareiskia. We need to come together. Not be like this and, oh my God, okay? Because that's what's happening. They're, like I said before, they're putting a wall right here. And it's a wall that has a repelling on both spots so that we're thinking that we're all against each other when we all have the same common goal. We all want the same thing. Only we're going about it in circles because they have us running around like chickens with their head cut off. I'm not saying there ain't good people in the government, but they're the ones that end up kicked out. The ones that have the big bucks that are running the country, why do they have big bucks? Why are they in there? Why not put somebody in there that knows what it's like, that can really budget? That's not digging in your pockets and say, oh, you got a penny in there. I want that. That's ours. People work overtime. Okay. Why are you working overtime? You're not getting ahead. You're just paying more taxes. That's weird. I just said that I know you all have I know we all have a brain. We just need to use it. And stop letting them tell you how to live your life. If you want to jump off a bridge, jump off a bridge. But don't expect the next person to jump off the bridge just because you did it, or because they told you to jump off, or because somebody told you to jump off a bridge. Don't expect the next person to jump off the bridge because somebody told you to and you did, because you were told to. We're going to get through this, and I know everybody's going to see the light. Okay, there's more and more people all the time that are waking up and they're asking questions like, what? Like, that don't make sense. Like, okay, I'm going to say something that don't really make sense. Yesterday, I was going somewhere and I went up the road and I passed, and there was a big cloud of thick black smoke, and it was up and I could see it. And I went just up the road. I was only going about 15 minutes. And when I was coming back, well, I heard the fire trucks and seen an ambulance going. And they were going down through town. Okay. I could sort of understand them going through town because they were on the main road. But when I got up by the highway from a different area, two or three fire trucks were coming. And what I couldn't understand is, why didn't they turn down the back road, which was right there, down the back road where there wasn't a lot of people or traffic, and you could go like 100 if you wanted to. But instead, they went way down the road and up through town. You want to know why? Because it's to cause anxiety. It's to cause fear. We already had a friggin' hurricane. We had enough fear from that. Why do you need to take that route when you could have got there faster the other way? Well, ask yourself, why? Like, why wouldn't you take the shortest route? Like I said, it's to cause panic, fear, and anxiety. And people are right by asking, like, why, with this power outage, why were they bouncing all over the place and us not even seeing anybody out doing anything? Because it was a disaster. Like I said, there were poles uprooted, there were trees uprooted, trees all across the roads, poles down, and there are still, like I said, there are still trees on the wires like that over the road. So somebody comes along, that tree finally gives way, and there's another catastrophe and a good possibility of life that could have been prevented. See, they can prevent these things, but they choose not to. They're told not to. They're told what to do. No, don't do there. You go here. You got to do this big business first. You got to do an industrial park first. We got to get the people back to work. Back to work, you go, here, little, come on, back to work. Get going. Come on, cattle. Get moving. Come on, sheep. Get home. Det skrämmer. Ni kutalar sklean ein ekre akatatai. Kaskira moskriana askroya tolaya poriana. We were given free will, but they manipulated your free will by all this pounding it in your head. Oh, we know what's best. You don't know what's best for yourself. We know what's best. We're going to tell you how to raise your kids. We're going to tell you how to walk. We're going to tell you how to speak. We're going to tell you, oh, you got to have this to live. You got to have that to live. But what do they keep doing? They keep dangling pennies in front of you. And when do they do that? It's usually when elections are coming up. I'm not patronizing you. I'm trying to help you see the light and to look at the bigger picture instead of this little tiny, like this. Expand it. Look at the bigger picture. Look outside that box that they have you in, keeping you focused on certain things. I was taught today, we were talking. And it's true. If you look, like, history repeats itself, right? Well, now everything is all, like, from history, it's all like into one pile. And they keep going over the same thing again. They keep recycling it. Because they ran out of ideas to manipulate you. Because you're waking up to it all. So they keep saying, oh, well, we got to go back. We got to do this. We got to do that. Come on. Oh, my God, keep them going. Come on, get on that spinning wheel. You need to stand up and say, hey, I ain't no mouse. I ain't no rat. I ain't no friggin' hamster. I ain't no pissant that you're going to tramp on. I ain't no nail that you're going to keep pounding back into the floor when it keeps popping up. Pop this up to them. Okay? Like we're told science fiction movies are science fiction. Well, have a look around because it's actually not the science fiction. They like to put a spin on everything. A spin to keep you going in circles. Hey, you're that little top. Well, here, hey, take this little top and rotate on it and spin right off. That's not to you. I'm saying to do that to the people that are trying to manipulate you. Because I know that you know something just ain't right. Because God didn't bring up no fools. Mariaska Tanoniskalea. Kututupria. Mikatuna Eskurea Atushkala Okuriuma Dictata Ketitki. I know you are all smart. We are all. It's not intelligence. It's wisdom. And you all have much wisdom within you. You've just been told that you don't, that you just have intelligence. I'd much rather have wisdom, experience, knowledge, opposed to something that someone wrote in a book. Anybody can write words. Anybody can manipulate something. But when you go within and you really look at something, we are scientists. We do have a right to ask questions. And if they're telling us to basically like, oh, like, why don't you just stop? Or if they keep going over the same thing over and over again, start to realize that, wait a minute, if something is true, you don't have to keep trying to drill it in someone's head. You'll feel it. And if you're going like this, and then you know it's not true or real. If it doesn't feel right, then it's probably not right. Just ask the questions and sit with it and look at it from all angles. I'm still learning to do that because I'm still waking up. There's bouts of times when I'm fully awake, but they keep trying to put us back to sleep, and there ain't no going back. We're not going back to what things were. So hang on, because we're going to get through it. And we are all going to be leaders of the new earth, our own leaders. And by being our own leaders, We lead by example to help other people become leaders of their own life. With change, pure heart, a loving heart, a caring soul that we all are. We were just manipulated. So, with that being said, I'm going to leave you all with that. I know that some of you are thinking that, oh, well, you're just a wackadoo, or you're just crazy, or like, lady, you really need to go back to the hospital. No, I don't. I just need to say F you to the people who are trying to tell me how to live my life. And you need to do the same. You are in control of your own life. They don't control you, so don't let them. And they know that they can't control you. That's why they're putting all assets out. So, with that being said, center. Brieskere ondersklei. Ekotoreim. Makontnoi. My tree. Hey, Mr. Clean, let's clean up this world and help the people that aren't able to help themselves, especially our children and our children's children and their children and their children after that. We are the world, we are the children, and we are going to heal together. Sending you all much love and light, blessings, and most importantly, very good health to anyone and everyone that is willing and wanting to receive it. Because you are the energy and you have it. Don't let them take it from you. I love you all, my dear family.